For joining us for this evening, thanks to Moon's team. So we prepared 3 different courses along with 3 different courses, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about 필스너우르켈, about its unique history and the impact that it had on the brewing industry.
네, 오늘은 오신 것 돼서 정말 환영하고요. 그래서 오늘 메뉴 같은 경우에 이제 맥주하고 음식 3가지 코스로 패링을 되어 있습니다. 그래서 오늘 이제 얘기할 것은
So informal, we're gonna have a free flow of the information coming your way, and as well, if there's any questions that you might have, just go ahead and shoot. Pilsner is actually brewed about 400 meters from my house. I've been working kind of freelancing and contracting with Pilsner for about 8 years, and I currently work as the Asia Pacific head tapster. Yeah, so no, I thought you were gonna interpret the translate, but maybe there's no need. So I don't know if you guys can understand me. Okay, there's no need for the translation. Yeah, so now is it fine? Is it all right? Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about beer. Just so you know, like last thing I would want to do is to get you guys bored. So we're gonna kind of keep it short to the point, and we're gonna kind of take breaks between the courses. Okay, so Pilsner, the original Pilsner, brewed the original way. You might have heard before, at least the phrase the original Pilsner. How many of you can tell me what is a Pilsner?
That's the reason why we came here.
Yeah. Good. So, and that's the reason why I'm here, to tell you guys. So Pilsner, of course, it's a beer. Pilsner is a type of beer. What kind of beer is it?
It's very light beer.
Yeah. Is it a dark beer? No, it's not a dark beer. It's a pale beer. So typically Pilsner, in the wider sense, is what pretty much every citizen of the earth thinks of when they think of beer. So it's a pale, golden kind of straw-like beer, liquid with white foam. That's what Pilsner is. So it's a type of pale lager. Yeah? And being the original Pilsner means that we were actually the first ones ever. So Pilsner is the first pale lager ever brewed. So before Pilsner was brewed, all the beers back at that time, in the early 19th century, looked nothing like most beers today. They were rather dark, they were cloudy, not very appealing to look at. So when the Pilsner brewery revealed to the world the first golden liquid, it literally changed the world forever. Yeah, and you can still see that today, because about 70 beers of all beers that are brewed in the world are pale or golden with white foam, and Pilsner inspired all of them. Actually, Pilsner is one of possibly the reason why we're drinking from a transparent glassware nowadays. For back in the 1800s, first half of the 19th century, people would drink from ceramic or wooden mugs, because the beer was simply just not that nice to look at. So that's what original means. Yeah, so inspired all the others, and no other beer really had such a massive impact on the only brewed there. We still brew it the original way. That means that we use the same brewing process and using the same ingredients. Yeah, so I'm not going to go into much detail, but I'm sort of assuming that you have some idea of like brewing. If not, you just take barley, you malt it, mix it, heat it up, throw some hops. That's the whole thing. But I'm going to focus on most unique features of the Pilsner-Urquell brewing process. Okay? So no other brewery can really claim they had such a massive impact as Pilsner-Urquell, that they've been brewing the same beer for as long as we have. So one of the things that I would like to point out regarding the Pilsner Urquell brewing process is called triple decoction. Yeah, crazy, never heard of it, I'm sure. But to help you understand what's that, so most beers nowadays are brewed in a stainless steel kettles using steam or electric heating. Are you following me? Yeah? So we, at Pilsner Urquell, we use only copper kettles because copper is a great heat conductor. And while, as I mentioned, most breweries use steam or electric heating, we use direct flame heating. So we use gas heaters that heat up the copper kettles to over 600 degrees Celsius. So it gets really, really hot. You have to stir it very quickly so it doesn't burn. But what that happens, it contributes to the caramelization process at the bottom of the kettle. So that's why the beer, if you compare it to other Pilsner style beers, is much richer. It's got a proper golden color, it's not yellow, and also has some subtle caramel notes to it. Yeah, it's subtle sweetness. Also, triple decoction, because something's repeated 3 times, right? So while most breweries mix up the mash and heat it up once or twice, we at Pilsner Urquell repeat this process 3 times to really get the most of the in-house malted barley. Yeah. So when you drink it, you get some sweetness to it. There's some subtle caramel notes. We're gonna go into the taste profile in more detail in just a little bit, and that is balanced by the bitterness. Yeah. Yeah. The other feature, I think we can just finish that, then the appetizer's gonna come, because I'm starting to lose my breath here. Just gotta trying to cover as much as I can. So the other thing is called parallel brewing. So the brewing process, when it's finished, you have like a bittersweet liquid, but there's no CO2 and no alcohol. So we add the yeast, and the yeast convert the sugars into carbon dioxide, yeah, and the alcohol. So we use rather lazy yeast that don't really convert much of the sugars. So there's actually more of like the unfermented malt extract left into beer. Lower alcohol, only 4.4, and also lower carbonation. And the parallel brewing means that this is actually a legit picture. If you visit our brewery, it really looks like that. And from every batch that we brew, we take a small part and we bring it down to the cellars, and we ferment in these open oaken vats.
But you don't seal the top?
No.
Just leave it open?
Yes. So, but it's a small part from every batch. So majority is fermented and secondary fermented lagered in cylinder conical tanks. But these are really open fermenters. Yeah. So, and it's also like bottom fermentation. That's what defines a lager. Yeah. This is very traditional, and you can nowadays only find it in very few breweries in Bohemia and in Bavaria. Yeah, but like I think you could, there would be a very low number if you were to look for breweries that actually use open fermenters, because clearly, as you figured, there's much higher chance of some contamination. Yeah, being poured directly from one of these open barrels. And at Pilsner Urquell, because it's all about craftsmanship, we actually have the last Cooper's workshop in Central Europe. We have 8 guys that still keep on renovating and building new barrels. And these barrels are actually more demanding to build, for example, in comparison to wine barrels or bourbon barrels, because for A, they need to withstand much higher pressure. Yeah, and there's also a protective layer or resin inside of these barrels, so that the beer does not come in contact with the wood. Yeah. So, for instance, if we have the large barrels, the wood is about 9 centimeters thick. So before the coopers even start making the beer, they need to let that wood dry for at least 9 years. So each centimeters of the thickness of the wood needs to dry for at least 1 year. Yeah. So it's a really long and demanding process. Yeah. Yeah. So these guys are aspiring to be on like UNESCO's heritage. Yeah. So it's very special site if you get to visit them. unadvised, you know, it would actually hit the mark. Also, the glasses are made from thick glass, so that they kind of stay chilled over a longer period of time, and they're a bit chubby, so that you can actually reach when you pour the bottom of the glass. Yeah, so I would start by pouring the foam to the bottom. It just keeps heating up, and then I open the tap, and then I pour the clear beer under the foam, and then I just kind of like slowly straighten the glass. Close it, move away, so that you have like creamy info. Yeah, so this would be a Hladinka, and this beer was never exposed to oxygen. Yeah. Difficult to kind of achieve these ideal conditions in most of Asia. But at this place, so this restaurant actually uses mobile bars that we used at the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang last year, which have these chill stuffs. Yeah.
And there's a place where they advertise their beer glasses were kept at minus 50 degrees Celsius.
Good for Heineken.
Yeah, that's
Minus 50 degrees Celsius.
it's just silly, yeah. But like still like no matter the temperature, you should always rinse it, yeah. Yeah, because like I really kind of hate it. For me, it's like almost as bad as a warm glass. Like, and it happened to me too many times that I would be served a beer, and then like there's like pieces of frost swimming in the beer, you know. So it's just like yeah, like literally ice, and it just kind of ruins the experience. So definitely don't want to do that. Yeah. Also, what I like often see when people store the glasses in a fridge, there's nothing wrong with that, like generally speaking, but there's a bit of a trouble if you store like meat and vegetables there, kind of like some leftover sauces, you know, like it's yeah. So then it's like a no-no. Yeah.
Welcome to Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna move on. Talking about the beer, I'm gonna pour you some Hladinkas as well. So as I was saying, Pilsner kind of doesn't not only stand out because of its unique history and the impact that it made on the entire industry, but it's also unique in terms of, let's say, the drinker's experience. Okay, so if you were to compare Pilsner, well, now we cannot see because I'm putting something in. Let's have one of the rules there. Okay.
하고 옆에 이제 받으신 스튜는 이제 굴라시라고 하는 동유럽 지방의 되게 대중적인 스튜입니다. 고기로 되어 있는 것들이고요.
So the goulash is
뼈일 거예요. 중간에 뼈가 있어요. 아마 여기는 다 뼈일 거예요.
그때 먹었던 그대로 스파이스를 넣어서 향미를 첨가하고 이제 되게 대중적인 벨덤플링이라고 불리는 빵.
이렇게 자르는 거랑 거의 비슷한 느낌이라고 보시면 돼요.
Nobody's